Right, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Just coming into where I've pitched up for today. Didn't get a chance to do a walk-in point of view. It's a bit busy on my path, and I just wanted to get down and get pitched. So I'm down to one of my favourite spots on the coast path. As you can see, already pitched the tent. I'll go through some details on that in a minute. I'll just scan around and show you how what it's all looking like. Just bear with me. So this is, I'm on a little sort of peninsula here, a headland, pitched on a nice little spot there, getting out to the Irish Sea there, and then I'm looking down onto a little bay here, some horses there, it's a nice little bay here. I have camped down here, just change my point of view and I can show you better. Alright, now we can see the beach better. I've actually camped on that bit before. It's not the most comfortable and not the largest. It's on a bit of a camber, etc. But the tide comes right up to here, and I've actually watched seals playing in the sea to about here. I did see one earlier on, but the tide's actually going out at the moment, so I don't think the seals are going to be about this evening. But if I do, I may go down there and film them. But it is a good spot down there because you've got your water supply right on your doorstep there, so it's just not the most comfortable kind of really small one-man tent or a tarp, and that's not what I've got today. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. So this is down one side of the headland that I'm camped on, and you can actually climb down the rocks and get right close down to the sea there. Good fishing spot, and I'm thinking about getting a spinning rod and some lures and having a go off there on another occasion. And there's another one which I'll show you in a minute, just around the corner, the same sort of thing. So here we are on the very top of the sort of mini peninsula or headland. So you see battling the rocks down there. I'll just spin around and show you wide angle. So here we are at the top. The headland over there. And we're coming down to the bay down there. And I am pitched just there with the Luxe Mini Peak II. I'll come to that in a minute. Here we are at the right hand side of the peninsula. I'm down onto the rocks here, and I believe there's a mark. I had a look earlier on. Can get down to this bit here. I believe that's possible to get down there to fish. Had a look at it. So yeah, that's a possibility for future wild camps, bit of fishing, see what I can get. As you can see, I'm quite close to that, just there. So this is tonight's luxury accommodation, the Luxe Mini Peak, with another sides guide out with a trekking pole just to protect from the wind a little bit. That side, it's one of the advantages of this particular tippy type tent. I'm kind of, I think I said in my last video, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this, but I'm actually starting to warm to it quite a lot now. And I had a look at its closest competitor, which is the Tarp Star 1, or just the Tarp Star, even the Tarp Star 2. I think they're pretty much the same. And I had a good look at that, looked at some videos on it, and the only advantage the Tarp Star has over this is weight, because it's a lighter seal nylon. This is a heavier polyester, and the fly on this is like 1 kilogram. Tarp Star is like half that, but this has some significant advantages over the Tarp Star, and I'll just go through that. So if anybody's interested in this type of tent, you can still get this tent, this tippy. So the first thing I would say is you can peg the sides down better. The Tarp Star is a bit like the Lanshan. It's got quite high sides on it when you put it at its optimal height. This one you can adjust the trekking pole on the pole supporting pole, and you can adjust it up or down quite nicely, and it's fine. You know, either way. You can see the way I pegged it out. These are the Chinese sort of corkscrew pegs that I prefer. On this kind of ground, I call it sort of spongy grass. I'm not sure what the real term for it is. Normal pegs are kind of a bit crap on this. It's quite deep stuff. These pegs, I find they're great for anything, even on a beach, as we saw last time. But just move around it a bit. The other advantages of this one is you've got the two vents at the top, and they work really well. Condensation is not an issue with this, not in my experience. Those vents are excellent. And also you can open it up completely, both sides, which you can't do with the Tarp Star. It's just got one opening. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. So yeah, I could open this side out and just have breeze blowing completely through this. I think it's got more guy out points as well, possibly. Not entirely sure on that. Right, let's come around. I'll bring into the inside. Right, if we just look at the inside now, it's cavernous in here. You could probably fit 3 people in here, certainly 2 adults and a child. That pole could probably do with straightening up a little bit, but it's doing the job. I mean, I've got tons of room. I haven't put the bedroom up. I've got a single person bedroom that fits at the back. No need for it here. It's never not blowing, never not windy here, and so insects generally aren't a problem, apart from critters on the floor. But I have got a contingency plan for that, which I'll show you in a minute. You can see, look, how much room I've got in there. That's a big old, that flex tail mat is a big old mat. And I was going to try and purchase the bathtub inner for this. It's basically a 2-person inner bedroom type, you know, like the Tarp tent has. And but I couldn't find it in the UK, and I had a look at it on the continent, and a bit of a hassle. Not too expensive, to be fair, but I found I think it's a Clost Nature or something like that, sort of ground sheet on Amazon, and the dimensions are pretty good for this. So I bought that, and yeah, it weighs 300 grams, but it's fine, you know, and it can take Axel, my chair, sitting in there, which is the other thing I like about this tent. I can sit up properly in that chair, in this, as you'll see in a bit. But let's go further inside, and I'll show you more what I mean. Now, the Tarp Star goes comfortably to 125 centimetres, which is there. So once you add on the handle of the pole, that takes it to about where that stop sign is. Look how much more room I've got in this. More headroom. Don't you see that? Okay. Tons. So I can put my chair up, as I've done there, and sit in it no problem. With the Tarp Star, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd have to turn it on its back and just sit on the floor with my back leaning against the seat of the chair. So for me, it's a big win. Now I'm 6'2", so there aren't too many tents that I can sit on a chair in, and this is one of them. So that's why I use it. Now, in terms of the bedroom, I have got a proper bedroom, but I've also got this, which I've practiced with, which is basically a mozzie net, which I can hang from the top, fits around the bed, it's a good size. Would have cut the bulldog clips, I can get that to work. So that's only 200 grams. So if I don't want to take the 500 gram inner, I can use that. So brought that with me just in case, but I don't really need it. But reduces the weight. Right, back in the room. Yeah, so I got here early on, and another reason why I didn't do a point of view was I was starving, to be honest with you. I hadn't had any lunch, so I came in and I got a couple of little reviews for lunch for things that people may not have tried before. But I had an interesting little discovery. I don't know if you can see these, but I picked these up today. I thought, oh, they'll do for lunch. These things, this here, which is Indomie mee goreng noodles. And I can tell you now, these are pot noodle killers. The noodles just come plain, but in the bag you get not one, not two, not three, but 4 flavoured sachets. So we've got a bit of soy there, a bit of oil and stuff there, a bit of chilli there, and a bit of bamboo sauce, which I'm not quite sure what that is. But you put all that, you put the noodles in as usual, boil them for 3 minutes, and then you put the other ingredients. I'll put it in my little oricasso bowl, and then chuck the noodles on top and mix it all up. And I'll tell you now, they're really, really nice, really nice. I don't think they're expensive as well either. They're home bargain special. So I can tell you now, I really like these. I'll definitely be getting some more, and I might even take some of these on the coast to coast or Cape Wrath. I don't know, a little bit bulky, but maybe. So that was them. The other thing I bought, I tucked into a can of this Cruz Blanca IPA, Palm Shade Tropical Hazy IPA, which is 6%. Now, the only reason I bought this was the can, because I looked at this can and all of a sudden I was on the Copacabana in skimpy shorts in the 1970s. That's what I saw. Either that or it was World of Sport. I was back to World of Sport as soon as I saw that can. So I bought 2 of that, and actually it's all right. It's not bad stuff at all. But yeah, I got a lot. You know, marketing. Okay, I was suckered on this one. This was a taste of the 70s. Absolutely loved the can, the font and everything. So yeah, Cruz Blanca. I'll probably get some more of that just so I can look at the can. It's just great. You had to have been there. Sorry, if you're a younger and this means nothing to you. The old ones, they're from the 70s, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about, particularly the World of Sport thing. The other one I got was a can of Green Mountain. So there's a bit of a green theme going on here at the moment. But yeah, this was okay actually. Session IPA, 4.3%, so it's a bit watery, but yeah, nice. Quite nice drop that. So I've got another can of the Cruz Blanca to be going on with, so that'll be the last can. Right, now my main meal tonight, I just thought, I can't be bothered to faff about. I mean, food, I'm not a foodie person anyway. I'm not one that's, I chucked a steak on last time, but that's about as foodie as I get. I'm very much, I just need some calories. I'm hungry. I just need to be fed. So my wife would say I'm incredibly fussy, but I don't think I'm that fussy, but she would obviously disagree. But I just like get food down my neck. And because of that, I have become a test pilot for expired army rations. And because of that, I found, digging around my ration store, this vegetarian pasta with beans in tomato sauce. Now, to say I'm not a vegetarian would be an understatement. I'm a carnivore in the Fred Flintstone mould, right? I do not do vegetarian stuff. But I thought, well, it's sitting there. I'm either going to chuck it or I'm going to eat it. This expired in 2016. So I'm going to take one for the team and I'm going to try it. If it's no good, I've got a plan B. I've got a summit to eat, bolognese. I can fire up if I have to. But I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised. I have a feeling I won't be. I've got some Tabasco to chuck in it to liven it up a bit. But yeah, 2016 vegetarian pasta with beans in tomato sauce. How bad can it get? I suspect quite bad. I have done this before. I have eaten old ones before. I ate one older than that. I think it might have been 2008, and I did get terrible indigestion on heartburn from it. It wasn't great. But I have, in my first aid kit, which is an episode on its own, I have something that is great for sorting stuff like that out. So I'm confident that even if it's cack, that I'll survive and I can deal with any stomach upsets. So we'll see about that. But don't worry, you won't have to watch me eating it. I'm just going to do it. And I'll let you know how that goes. A bit like the steak last time. So that was that. So that was it on the food front, really. Not too much else to report. I'm not. Oh, there was one other thing that I'll show you. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but I'm more of a tea man, really. But in the morning, when you get up, you know, when you wake up and you're camping, I'm never quite sure if I've had a good night's sleep or not. It's like, I remember moving quite a lot, but I don't remember much else. But I'm never quite sure. I don't know whether it's an age thing. I'm just never quite sure whether I've slept well or not. But so to that end, to get me fired up first thing in the morning, I have a coffee, because coffee really does it. Really, I couldn't drink coffee all day. I'd just be hanging off the ceiling. So tea's much better for me. But first thing in the morning, it gets me it fires me up and gets me motivated. So I bought one of these. It's dirt cheap. It's a coffee filter, and if you can see, it's like a folding one. You can get all sorts of different ones for camping and cups and offices and that. But I thought, well, I'll try this one. So I got it, and so I chucked that in a cup. And what I chuck in them, these sort of, I haven't got a coffee machine at home, but I thought you can use these, because I use coffee bags. They're quite expensive, but I saw these and they were quite cheap, these Costa coffee pots. And I thought the coffee's probably going to be all right. And all you need to do is like take the foil off, chuck that into the filter, and then pour the water through. And I thought, well, surely that's all you need to do. And I tried it, and it works. It does. And you do get a nice cup of coffee. So I bought some of these, and tomorrow morning I'll be having one of these. Slice the top off it, chuck it in. The water it filters through pretty quick as well. It doesn't go cold or anything. You have to wait forever, and that really works actually. So it's a good option if you like your coffee. And I don't know how people can drink those sachets. They are crud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but those those coffee sachets, which have already got the sugar and everything else in, they are vile. That you've only got to read the ingredient list. I'm a bit of a health, not health nut, but I'm conscious of what I eat and stuff. You might find that hard to believe. Bear in mind, I just take those noodles, but I generally am. Camping is when I throw the rules out the window, because it's just get the calories down your neck. But at home, I eat a lot of meat. My missus grows in the garden, and I steer clear of a lot of processed food. So, but those coffee things, they're horrendous. They're just number central. So yeah, I'd rather use a coffee bag or these, So yeah, so that's it from the food front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself fed, and get tidied up, and then we'll have a bit of a chat. And I'll introduce you to my fireside chat, which is not really a chat, it's a monologue, isn't it? So it's me giving you my thoughts on random subjects. And it's at that point, it doesn't have to be camping, it could be anything, and it will be anything. You can just like turn off, or if it's not for you, that's fine. But I'll try and make it amusing, and I'll try and make it interesting. So we'll see how that goes. If you've ever watched Jeff Buys Cars, a YouTube channel, I kind of see myself as the camping version of that, really. I mean, he's got a big following. I haven't got anybody yet, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm very much on the same track as him, so I've got a lot to say, a lot of opinions on things, and some interesting things to say, I think. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll get Mr. Scoff, and then I'll come back, and I'll do my first one, which I think will be an interesting one to some people, and we'll take it from there. And I guess if you think it's rubbish, you're not going to subscribe, or if you have subscribed, you'll unsubscribe. But that's up to you. So I have no expectations. So we'll see how it goes. So I'll bring you back in a bit. Right. Well, we're back in the room. So I can confirm that I have indeed eat the aforementioned vegetable pasta, and like all army rations, it came in compulsory orange. Some of you will know what I mean. And I have to say, I have had worse. I'm not sure that's saying much. I've definitely had better, but I feel okay at the moment. So and I'm not hungry, so I didn't need to resort to these something to eat meals. So that's the good news. I've had a tidy up, I've hoovered up, I kicked the cat out, and so I'm ready for the fireside chat now. You have to excuse the camera angle. I made another faux pas. I bought a little tripod, which needs a adapter to sit in the camera, and it didn't have the adapter for the camera in it, so I don't know what I've done with that. But so I'm having to jerry rig the camera on my Bergen, so my backpack. So there you go. So the angle is what it is. I'd just like to come in a bit, and I just want to mention the fact that I know a lot of YouTubers, a lot of them have got fancy gear, expensive gear, and you know, if you've got the money and you can afford it and that's what you want, then fair enough. I've got some nice pieces of kit myself, but I do like to look for a bit of a bargain, budget option, and I just thought I'd mention this thing that I'm wearing here. I bought it from the Treasure Isle in Lidl's. I think it came with a toy chainsaw and a fondue set, but it cost me 14 quid. And if you made this a fancy colour, stuck a Montaigne label on it, or a Rab label, or whatever, you could sell this thing for 90 quid. It is excellent. In fact, I was so impressed with it, I tried it, and it really does insulate. It's thin, but it insulates really well. I don't know, it's got these sort of pimples on the arms, and it just works. And for 14 quid, I'm like, I'm going to have another one of those. And I went back, so I got two of them. And they are superb as like a mid-layer. Made by that well-known company. I think it's Crivet or Civet. But if you ever see them, you know, it's like a padded sort of jacket with these sort of dotted arms. I don't know if you can see that, they're dotted arms, but they insulate really well, and they keep me really warm. I've taken my expensive Cragopper soft shell jacket off because that's good for stopping the wind, but not for keeping you warm. And this is I'll just drape over my legs because I've got these thin Quetcher, really thin trousers on. Yeah, so I've got this top. So yeah, I would say, you know, when you keep an eye out in places like Lidl if you do go in there. I mean, I shop in there regularly, so a fortune to be honest with you, and the food's fine. Yeah, just keep an eye out for some of the tops and that they do. I've had some, you know, gym tops and stuff out there, and it's save a fortune, like 3 or 4 quid. You know, you're getting them for, and you pay 15, 20 elsewhere. So and they're just as good. So yeah, just a little tip for those who are interested. I've just realised I've forgotten something before I get into the fireside chat, so I'm just gonna, if you just wait there one moment, I'll be back in a minute. Right, here we go. I'm back. I've had to deploy my buddy hollies because my eyesight, because of my advancing years, my eyesight is not quite what it once was. I used to be able to take the bollock off a gnat at 300 metres with a rifle. Now I'm lucky to spot my own. But there you go. That's age for you. So anyway, so into the fireside chat, and I can hear what you're saying. How can you have a fireside chat without a fire? Well, that's where you'd be wrong, because we have the fire. So I put the fire on, nice and toasty. Now we can have the fireside chat or monologue. But obviously, feel free to comment. So what I want to talk to you about this evening, and I won't spend too long on it, but I think it's important for potentially future subjects, is the expression conspiracy theory. So what does the words conspiracy theory mean? Well, what's a conspiracy? A conspiracy is a group of people planning to do something nefarious that they're trying to keep secret from other people. I think we can agree on that. Do conspiracies happen? Yes, they happen all the time. In fact, you could even argue that in a lot of workplaces there are conspiracies, management doing things to their staff, keeping them secret, having meetings, etc., etc. So conspiracies are nothing new. They've been around since the other oldest profession in the world. So that's the first point. And what's a conspiracy theory? Well, A conspiracy theory is essentially, basically, someone theorises that there is a conspiracy ongoing with which is aiming to get a specific outcome that isn't going to be advantageous to other people, but may be advantageous to those who are conspiring. Okay, I think that's fair to say that. So the reason I raise this is because I hear this term used all the time, and it's used to delegitimise people. So essentially, the minute you utter the phrase conspiracy theory, you delegitimise someone, or in the eyes of some people that are not very smart, to be honest. And if you want to know how, what I would say is take a look at who uses this term the most, and you'll hear politicians using it all the time. The most conspiring bunch of people that you'll ever come across. Okay, and they love to trot that one out. It's kind of projection, really. So what I thought we'd do is we'll just take a look and see where that term comes from, where it originates from. And this is beyond ironic, where this comes from. And some people may know this, some may not. But I'm sure you've all heard of the assassination of JFK, John F. Kennedy, in America. I think it was in 62 or 63. And he was allegedly shot in his car by Lee Harvey Oswald in the bookstore, with some miraculous shooting, is the best way I can describe it. Now, the CIA, this event happened, obviously. Lee Harvey Oswald was the man who was who was blamed for it. He, just by total coincidence, got shot very quickly afterwards by Jack Ruby, who was then shot himself. So I don't know about you, but I find that a little bit suspicious on its own. But anyway, in the US, they had the Warren Report, and the Warren Report was supposed to look into all the evidence and decide whether it was Lee Harvey Oswald or whether there was a conspiracy. And shock horror, they came up with the conclusion that no, it was Lee Harvey Oswald. When all the evidence, when you look into it, and if you've ever gone into it, down this rabbit hole and looked into it, read the people who have properly gone into it and all the evidence, it's beyond a joke. So the Warren Report said, no, it's all good. It's all good. But unfortunately, a lot of the public, I think it was 46% of the American public, weren't really buying what the Warren Report was selling. So the modern use of the term conspiracy was basically came from a memo from the CIA. And that memo is, bear with me a second, it's called, the title is Countering Criticism of the Warren Report. And it's got a serial number. I did write this down, but I can't find the serial number right now. But anyway, 1035-960. And I will put a QR code on the screen after I've had this little monologue, and you can just point your phone, it'll take you straight to this report. So you don't have to question what I'm saying or what I'm saying about this report. You can have a look yourself, see if what I'm saying is correct. So the words conspiracy theory mentioned a couple of times in this report, and basically this memorandum is advising CIA operatives what they need to do. One of them was basically don't talk about it if you can avoid it. And I particularly liked, where are we? Paragraph B, section 3B. And it starts and this is basically advising agents to employ propaganda assets to answer and refute the attacks of the critics. Well, sounds to me like they're very keen for people not to talk about it and not to discuss it any further. And there was a big, because Lyndon Johnson, the guy who took over from JFK, was kind of implicated, and the mafia and all sorts of people. So the CIA were working very hard to try and stop, obviously, people having alternative theories or conspiracy theories, as they call them. And they used that term a couple of times in that memo. But the interesting thing is, there was a select committee report in 1979. So where we are before the select committee report is the American government and all the agencies have said, no, it was Lee Harvey Oswald, forget all the rest. That's definitely what happened. Well, they finally got around to having a select committee meeting, and they had a report. on the JFK assassination records. And I'm just looking for the headline. So at the top, it says findings. And this is essentially the summary of the report. And it says scientific acoustical evidence establishes a high probability that two gunmen fired at President John F. Kennedy. Other scientific evidence does not preclude the possibility of two gunmen firing at the president. So essentially, the findings of that select committee was that, yeah, do you know what? It wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. There was someone else. Well, that in itself is still laughable, but at least they were kind of admitting. So I guess the point is, the CIA originally used the term conspiracy theory to try and discredit anybody who questioned the narrative around JFK's assassination. But after time, it was proven that there was a conspiracy. Even the American government, much as they sort of basically whitewashed over it, never did anything about it. There was definitely a conspiracy to kill JFK, and the rest is history, as they say. I doubt anybody believes Lee Harvey Oswald even was the person who assassinated JFK. There were a number of shooters. His marksmanship skills would have to have been miraculous to the point that he was bending bullets around corners, etc., etc. So, if you've seen the film JFK, touches on the truth. There's tons of stuff about this. So, my point is that the original conspiracy theory was true. Okay, it was a conspiracy theory, but it was actually true. And where I'm coming from is that in the modern day, in the last few years, there have been an awful lot of conspiracy theories. And what I would suggest is that an awful lot of them at least have some basis in truth. And what I would say is my kind of learning from this and other things that I've looked into is that the person who shouts conspiracy theory, the first mention of something they're not familiar with or they haven't looked at, is essentially a useful idiot. And a useful idiot is someone who basically has something to hide, or is working for a higher power, or is just there to disrupt. Okay, so that's it really, because I'm going to chat about some things in future fireside chats that will touch on things, and people are going to say this conspiracy theory. But I can tell you this much: I will not discuss anything that I have not made a good effort to investigate myself. Because I one of the things I like to do is listen to podcasts. There's some amazing podcasts out there, and some amazing people out there who get into all sorts of rabbit holes and things. And I never take what they say as gospel. I listen to what they have to say. I'll go and look for the counter argument, and I make my own mind up. And am I wrong sometimes, or am I deceived sometimes? I guess I must be. But I think whether that happens depends on how much due diligence you put into something. Nobody knows the whole truth. Nobody knows everything. Nobody knows the truth of everything. So, but the last 4 years certainly has been an eye-opener for me. And my eyes were open to certain things well before what's gone on in the last 4 years. But I see the world with very different eyes. And I guess this is just an opportunity for me to have my say, really, because what I have found is you go on, I'm not on really on any social media. I'm not on Instascam or Facebook or any of those things. That's a whole topic on its own. But when I have been, I used to be on Twitter and that, I found that even when I was telling the truth and I could prove it with evidence, you'd be shut down, you'd be banned, all the rest of it. And, if that happens to me on here, so be it. But I guess I just have to be careful what I say. But I don't think talking about conspiracy theories is in itself, it's something that should get me blocked or banned. But there are other things I just have to be careful what I say. I see other people doing it. And I'm kind of tired of being silenced and shut up. So this is sort of part of the fireside chat thing. There are other things that are totally camping related that I will talk about. There's some good topics. Health is one that I'm particularly interested in. i.e. how, as an older man still humping larger bags and doing it, how do you stay fit? I know I have things that I do to facilitate that. I think diet and well, for me, avoiding the medical system is a big part of how I stay fit and healthy. I'm not registered with a doctor. I haven't seen one for 11 years. And I generally don't get ill. Now, that's not a coincidence. That's because of specific strategies that I do. And actually doing a wild camp once a week is one of those. Because I find with camping, like on your knees doing tents and setting things up, and it's a bit like doing gardening. You're exercising muscles you don't normally exercise if you're a bit of a desk jockey, So so there are certain strategies, for younger people. When I was a younger man, I wouldn't bat an eyelid, but now I have to think about what I do more. So there's lots of things I can touch on that. So it's not all going to be crazy stuff, but I thought it was worth just talking about conspiracy theories and why that term is quite toxic and is a phrase that's bandied about by useful idiots, for me anyway. So that's the fireside chat for today. I guess I'm just going to chill out for a bit now, and then I'll get my head down. I've got to be up early and get cracking tomorrow morning. So I may bring you back in the morning, or this may be, I don't know yet. It just depends how I do for time, what time I get up. But we'll call it a day for now. Okay, so I better turn the fire off. It's getting a bit warm in here. There you go. That's easy, wasn't it? And I'll catch you in the next one.